Rockstar guest today, Patricia Hicks, is in the house. She loves helping people gain clarity about their goals, their priorities, and their direction. That's right. She wants to bring out the best in you. Let's rock and roll.
Thank you for listening to the Freddy O Show, a podcast devoted to you, the listener, your purpose, your mindset, and your marketing efforts, designed to help you go to that next level. Now here's your host, Freddy O.
Oh, yes. What an amazing day to be alive, to forge forward, and to pursue your passions. Every day we have that choice to either stay stagnant or to move that needle forward, building momentum to a better you every day. No exceptions. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, taking the time out of your day to listen to episode number 3 of the Freddy O Show. This is Freddy O, and now before I get to our special rockstar guest today, I wanted to extend the invite to a brand new Facebook group I just started called the Funnel Mastery Alliance that was created to focus on funnel creation strategies, marketing ideas, lead generation, plus so much more. I love that stuff. So to join, all you have to do is head over to winwithfred.com/FMA. Just answer a few simple questions, and boom, we'll get you on the inside. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you all in the Facebook group. Also, you can access all podcast show notes at winwithfred.com, so make sure you do that as well.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
Yes, our next guest is excellent. Absolutely excellent. She wants you to be your best. She really does. She focuses on bringing out the best in people. And honestly, who doesn't want to be their best, right? So without further ado, Patricia Hicks, welcome to the Freddy O Show. Super pumped to have you on.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we're going to get things off rolling really quick. First and foremost, who is Patricia Hicks?
Well, I am a kingdom entrepreneur. I am an author, a speaker, trainer, coach, and I'd like to think of myself as a matchmaker. I like to match solutions to problems, ideas to products, and I love matching people to tools and resources and each other.
Very cool. So what is, you said you were a kingdom entrepreneur.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Well, a kingdom entrepreneur, first of all, I see myself as a child of the King. So I'm a Christian. And that means that I'm about really helping serve people, solve their problems, and really sort of co-creating with God, his kingdom.
Fantastic. I guess that means I'm a kingdom entrepreneur too. So I am Christian as well. That's fantastic. So with that being said, what would you say your main passion that you love to bring to the table to help others is?
Well, my passion is really to help others live their best life. And that really means a life where a person is really living on purpose, it's balanced, it's abundant, they're blessing others, they're doing what they're passionate about. And when they are stepping into a space, their light is shining wherever they go. They're focused on others. They are about meeting others' needs with excellence, and they're using their time wisely.
Okay, so when you say that, you have a history of doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about your history and what you've done in the past?
Well, yes. So I have a company that's called the Outcomes Management Group that I founded 25 years ago.
Wow.
And it bears the name Outcomes because I'm really passionate about results. And so around 2008, I decided to take a look at why were some organizations and people getting better results than others. And I looked at 125 organizations that represented 50% were nonprofit, 25% were in the private sector, and 25% were government. And what I found was that when people and organizations stayed focused on 4 key characteristics, they achieved extraordinary results. And that became a cute acronym, B.E.S.T. And I can come back to that later. And then about, 2016, I was interested in moving into the online world. And I was hosting some focus groups to get some feedback. And primarily millennials showed up. And I was curious as to why they were there. And they said, well, we really wanted to see if your B.E.S.T could help us to get things done fast. And so at that point, I had not looked at the relationship between B.E.S.T and fast. So I went back to the drawing board, and sure enough, I was able to find a relationship between B.E.S.T and fast. And it was at that point that I realized that I could really help people really live their best life. And that sort of incorporated this model of B.E.S.T and fast.
So the B.E.S.T and fast is like your core values.
Yes. So let's talk about fast and why that ties to a best life. We don't really know how long we're here. We don't, no one knows, but we know we have a finite period of time. So therefore, time has to become a value, and you need to use that time really well. And typically what we've done is, we just sort of go along and we do things, but we're not looking at whether those things could really get done faster. And that's what I love about this millennial generation, because they're challenging us to say, hey, do we have to always do it that way? Could we do it differently? And that led me to, could we do things faster? And if we really focus on our time and getting things done as fast as we can, then by goodness, we could probably make sure that we have this best life before it's time to go. So that's sort of how that sort of all evolved.
So if somebody were to come in to your program, I know you have I believe it's a coaching program, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they come to your coaching program. What do you look at? Like for instance, being an entrepreneur, especially an online entrepreneur, you've been in it, since 2016, you've talked to millennials, and you know that a lot of people don't succeed in this space because a lot of it, I think, is because they don't have the right direction and they're maybe not utilizing their time. Because I always believe that time is money and you can't get time back. And I know that since I've gotten older, time goes faster. It's like you can't grasp a hold of time. So you have to use what you have in front of you to the best of your ability. So what do you really focus on when it comes to someone, for instance, starting an online business and they want to go to that next level? How would you help them? What would you do to help them?
Okay, so there's sort of 5 pieces to this. First is really helping them first get clarity about their destination. To your point, they want to go to the next level. What does that really mean? So we have to really get clarity about that.
Very true.
And then once there's clarity about here is what the next level means, here's what it looks like, let's take a look at you, because you are going to be the driver of whether you get to the next level. And now I'll bring in my B.E.S.T. So those 4 characteristics that I was talking about, B is about bright, and bright is about your image. And your image is what allows you to attract. And of course, when we're in business, we need to be able to attract customers and partners and funders and so forth. E is about excellence. And the characteristic that's tied to excellence is having standards. And when you have standards, that allows you to grow. That's the outcome. S is about satisfaction. It's my favorite discovery. And that's when you're focusing on meeting the needs and expectations of others. And the outcome is energy. And it takes energy to get things done. And then T is about time and meeting deadlines. And the people who are disciplined at managing their time are better able to seize opportunities. So you can probably see now that when you focus on all four of those areas collectively, that's why you can get those extraordinary results. So I have an assessment tool that allows you to take a look at where you are. So what's your best condition? So we want to see where we are. We want to see where there are blind spots that we need to be cognizant of, because that's going to all impact our ability to move to the next level. So that's the personal examination. And with that personal examination and where we want to go, we can now start thinking about what do you do? And, create this, what I call a BEST roadmap, a blueprint that can begin to help you to chart your path. And now we have to also tie into this roadmap looking at your speed, because we want to go as fast as we can. And there are 6 influencers of our speed. Would you like to know what those are?
Absolutely. I'm intrigued. First of all, I want to say that I need to know where this assessment is, because I like to see where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I will make sure that you know where it is and that you can get it. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, I'd love to hear that.
So here are the 6 influencers. And this came really from my millennials, that forced me to take a look at speed and fast. So the first influencer that's the most significant influencer of speed is your environment. You see that?
Okay, so your environment, as far as like what you have around you, like where you're working.
That's right, because that's where you spend most of your time. And so in that environment, you may not be aware, because let's just say people tend not to pay too much attention here. So it's influencing you, but you don't realize that it's influencing you. But if you just make some adjustments in your environment, all of a sudden you can boost your speed. You can make some adjustments that will help you keep focused and eliminate distractions. You can make some adjustments that will allow you to have the energy that you need. You can make adjustments that can help you to stay more focused. So you can do some things in your environment that will actually really boost your speed.
That's a good point. For instance, is a speed something that takes away speed? Would you say clutter is one of those things?
It is. Yes.
Don't look at my desk right now.
and to your point, right? People say, well, I can find it. And usually they can find it. They just don't realize that it's taking a little bit more time to locate it than if it was, or if it was organized and just how I set my desk up, whatever my priorities are, how do I set it up where I have focus, where there are things that remind me of what I'm trying to accomplish so that I don't allow other things to get me off track from what I'm trying to accomplish. So that environment is just key. So that's number 1. So we'll keep going real fast. So number 2, it's all about people, relationships. And relationships, your life moves at the speed of relationships. Now, people have showed you about relationships and money and relationships and results. Now I'm going to tell you how it relates to speed. So there are 6 different types of relationships that you need to have that influence your speed. One relationship, a very critical one, is an accountability partner. You need somebody who you really trust, who loves you, cares about you, that's gonna make sure that you're staying on point. My husband is my accountability partner. And he wears me out, but I know he loves me. So it has to be somebody that that they love you, because they gotta call you. They gotta call you on it when your behavior gets out of alignment, or when you're not doing things, or they're checking on you, and so on. So that's one, and there are others, but I'm going to just go to the other one that I think is most critical here for, let's just say, this new person that we're talking about. Do they have a mentor or a coach? And that becomes essential, because that's the one relationship that creates the greatest speed. if I don't have someone who's been where I'm wanting to go, then I have to figure it out myself. Now, I can figure it out, but it will take longer than if I have someone who already has been there and can guide me, give me feedback, help me to avoid things, and so on. So to my millennials, I was saying absolutely positively, without a doubt, you got to have a mentor, you got to have a coach. And no matter what stage you are in life, when you're starting, whatever it is, you better find a mentor or a coach, because you're going to go slower in the absence of that relationship. So that's number 2. Number 3, it's all about your mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So your mindset, just think about it. If you think immediately can't, but it slows you down. You stop right then, because I can't do it, or it won't happen. I mean, so your mindset is really critical to speed too. Balance. Everybody tells you, you really need to be focused on balance. Well, balance impacts your speed. and we can get that, right? If we're sick, we're not able to get anything done. So we've got to make sure that we're balancing our mind, body, and spirit, so that stays in balance. Because when any of those get out of balance, you're really moving slower than you would if you were in balance.
Can I jump in there real quick?
Absolutely. Yes, jump.
So balance. This is a good one, because when I first started out, I was so focused on building the business aspect of it, spending time and a ton of time focusing on in front of the computer. And what I was doing was I was neglecting other things that were important, like my health, my family. My wife was starting to say stuff, hey, listen, we're still here. And I realized that was a huge problem I was running into. So now my days are not nearly like that. It's time to shut down and it's time to go to work, as far as focus on what I'm doing. And I think that's fantastic that you do teach that. What would you say to somebody? Because let's go back to the mentor one too, and then I'll let you finish up on that, what you were describing. But the mentor one, what would you say to somebody that you recommended a mentor, not a person, but they got a mentor? What's a sign of a bad mentor?
Well, I think a sign of a bad mentor would be a person who really is not focused on understanding you and what your needs are, and wanting to be available to help you to achieve those, what your goals and needs are. Okay.
Very good. Very good. Proceed. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I love it. So balance is critical. And to your point, what we don't realize is that impacts your speed from the standpoint, if you work, you don't realize, you think that you're being more productive, but the reality is you're not getting things done as well as you could and as fast as you could if you took breaks and so forth. So I even teach people how to build that into their day as well. So and how to build in taking care of yourself into your day, into your actual work day, so that you are keeping that day in balance. Okay, so the next area is communication. What we say and how we say it influences our speed.
Example?
Well, this is so interesting. Let's think about, I always sort of think about President Obama is sort of a good example of this. So he used the words, yes, we can. Remember that?
Yes.
And those words are real interesting, because it wasn't yes, I can. It wasn't yes, you can. It was yes, we can.
We can.
Mm-hmm. And then think about it's if you said yes, we can, or yes, we can, or yes, we can. You see, just depending upon how I say things can actually motivate somebody else to do the thing that I need for them to do. If that's what and of course, most of the times as entrepreneurs, we're needing to get people to do things, either with us or for us or, whatever. So
100%.
How we say things is going to either move them to do it faster or take a while to get to where we want to go. So we want to really think about what words we're going to use and how we're going to say those things so that we can really get people going as fast as we need for them to move along with us. So, it's and even today, the other piece is also where we communicate with young millennials. You'd better text if you're going to be trying to reach out, to phone them or, that's not going to work, or email. So even where you communicate. So I always try to find out from people what their preference is of communication so that I can go there. I don't have to waste time sending something and then they say, well, I didn't get that or I didn't see that. I understand up front, this is going to be how we're going to communicate. So, and listening to people to see what words they use so that I can use those words back because that helps them to connect with you and to all that. So communication is a big deal.
Very
and then
cool.
The last area that's most people will probably go like, what? It's called celebration. Celebrate. Now, we don't do enough celebrating. And think about it. When you celebrate, you get excited about it and it encourages you to want to keep going. So if you wait until the end of something, so when we talk about moving to the next level, if we're going to wait and celebrate 6 months in, as opposed to every step along the way, if we celebrate, I'm going to get geeked. I'm going to be excited. I accomplished that. Yeah. So now I can go on and do the next thing. So it really propels me to keep moving. And I really end up going faster than bumping into things and not going so well. And that slows me down and, and so on. So the celebration is really key to really helping you to move along faster. So those are my acceleration areas. And so again, that becomes a part of my working with you is helping you to examine those things and help you to, figure out how to use those, see where you are with your speed so that we can try to make some adjustments to get you going a little bit faster. And then the last thing that I like to focus on in this whole piece, of course, would be, are we getting results? Because the goal here is to get to the next level. So we got to make sure that we're clear about, what results we're going to need to make. What results we are going to achieve and how are we measuring to make sure that we are achieving those results so that we can make adjustments where necessary, which will help us go faster. Because if we aren't measuring and we're not getting what we should at different points along the way, we could end up getting somewhere and it's going to really figure out, we are not where we need to be. And now there's more time that we got to expend into this than we needed to. So those are the sort of 5 key areas that I focus on when I'm working with someone.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go back to, first of all, celebration I think is really key, because if you wait till you're finished, it could be like when you're talking about celebration, like the baby steps, the small things that you accomplish within your journey.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's fantastic. I think that I need to do that more. I think that if you have a business and you might be going through a rough spot, celebrate things that you may have done recently to overcome a roadblock or obstacle that you have in front of you right now. And then when you get through that obstacle, it's just another celebration, correct?
Right. Yep. That's right.
And secondly, you brought the millennials and how to communicate with them with, like, for instance, text. And I understand that they love texting. Do you ever encourage the people that all they do is text? Because I feel that it sort of takes away an aspect of communication of their own, because they're so intent on just typing and they have a hard time getting face to face with people. Or do you not see that?
Oh, no, absolutely. And So I want to help them to see the benefits of multiple ways of communicating. So just as they prefer to receive messages one way, they have to be cognizant of the people that they're trying to reach and the ways in which they like to communicate, so that it's a reciprocal process. Communication is. So helping them to see that is really, very important. And the other piece that is really important is that in communication, 90% of our communication is really nonverbal. So when we can't see the other person, we can make assumptions about what the communication means or is saying that it might not be. And so therefore, that is another variable that has to definitely be taken into consideration. And it makes me nervous today as we are in our pandemic and are moving to more communication via technology, that this is going to be very challenging because communication is just much more than just the actual, sending words or talking to someone via, Zoom. There's a lot that comes from that interaction with the person or persons. So you are on point that we don't want to totally live by. But if I need to reach you, that's where the fast comes in. I know that's how I got it.
I see what you're saying. I see where you're going there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if I'm in a texting, especially I've had friends where I've texted back and forth and they're taking what I'm writing way out of context. It's like they think I'm arguing with them. I'm not arguing. And finally I get off the texting and I get on the phone. I'm like, bro, listen, I'm not mad. We're not fighting. I don't know where this is coming from. So there's got to be, like you said, there's got to be a balance.
Yeah. Because it is, we all process communication through our filters. We have different filters, our past experiences and, just our perceptions of things. So you could say a word, like boy, and you mean nothing by it. And because of my cultural background, when you say boy, I get offended because boy has a meaning to me that you didn't realize it had. And so when we're texting, that's how that can get escalated, because if we're face to face and you can easily see that was sort of might have offended me, because you're going to see that I squinted my eyes and I rolled my eyes or something. And you're going to say, oh, something's going on with Pat. But if it's a text, you can't see me rolling, and so you're just continuing on. And now I'm taking everything that you say, now through this filter that I put it in, that you didn't realize it was now residing in as you were talking to me.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So what's the most important thing you've learned in your life? What was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life after you learned it? The most important thing.
Ooh. Ooh.
Deep question.
Oh, because there's so many. Ooh. Oh, boy.
You got to pick one, just one.
I know, you're making me choose. I am going to say that maybe the most important thing is recognizing that it's important to. Oh, you're making me. I'm having a hard time. It's because it's two things that sort of blend together. But okay, I'll just stick with this one. When I was in my doctoral program, well, let's just say, because you said pre and post. Okay, so prior to my doctoral program, I grew up. My parents were very much, this is right, this is wrong. And I was in a dichotomy of, it was just either or. And then I got into my doctoral program and I had this experience where I was facilitating a family, counseling session, and when it was over, my instructor said, "How did it go?" And I said, "Oh, it was awful." And she said, "Awful?" And she said, well, let's think about that. What went well? And I rattled off some things that went well. And all of a sudden, just by her getting me to focus on something went well, I realized that everything didn't go bad. So immediately then I realized it really wasn't awful. Now, it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. So I realized that there was an and in there. And I would say that has been a really valuable lesson to me, that I really don't see things anymore as either or. I see things with and.
So perspective.
Yes.
Perspective is huge.
Yes.
Because I have people that I've talked to, and they say that that everything is terrible. Their life is a wreck, when it's really not. I was like, look around at the blessings you have and the blessings you see and the blessings you don't see. It's crazy. Perspective is huge, and life in general.
Yeah.
So that's great. And I'm sorry if I threw you off a little bit, but that's just a good question.
I just had to choose. That was all it was. I was just trying to decide which of my big three was it, and I decided that would be it. Because I want to say, can I just say this one thing? That's what's bothering me about today. We're in this pandemic, and so we hear the way it's sort of projected is today. Let us tell you, here's how many people have the virus. Here's how many people have died. Here's this, here's that. And so we get this picture that becomes like a one-sided picture. And there's another side to the picture. And we don't have conversation going that relates to both sides so that people can have an and perspective. And so we have, and this is sort of going on in our country in so many ways. So therefore people are going either I'm this or I'm that. And we're seeing the intensity now of conflict because there are very few ands. And we don't have any ands rising up in the leadership of any place and space that's helping us to realize that each view there is something in each view that we can appreciate.
So true.
And so
true.
So that's what's sort of bothering me. So that's why I picked that one, because I'm getting annoyed that I'm not seeing the and perspective.
Life shouldn't be, in my opinion, about choosing your side.
Yes.
Life should be about being able to have discussions and figure out the happy medium, because what happens is when you say choose your side, it's like a team mentality. We're going to beat them, and it gets nasty. So I 100% agree with you. That bothers me too. And hopefully we can shake that mentality because it doesn't do anybody any good. So I'm going to jump to, how can people get a hold of you? And I know you're going to give away something for free today. So and we're going to have this all in the show notes, everybody. So you can, because she is a wealth of knowledge, 25 years doing this. And if you have been listening, you can see that she is fantastic, great knowledge, and you want to learn from her. So how can they get a hold of you, and what are you going to be giving away today?
Okay, well, there are lots of places and spaces that I can be reached. You are going to provide everybody with a link to my Best Life community. It's a free community, and it's a place that if you're interested in living your best life, that you want to come and be a part of, because I share tools and resources, and every day I'm putting out some information, that will motivate you and give you some ideas about your best life. So that's one place. I am on Facebook, and I have a Be Your Best fan page, and that'll be posted as well, so that you can join me on Facebook if you're there. I'm on Instagram, and so if that's where you are, I am personally there, so that link will be available to you as well. I'm on LinkedIn, and so you can catch me there. So I'm just about everywhere. I also have a website that's bestfast.org, which is pretty easy to remember, because it's all about, my movement. And I think those are all the places.
That's fantastic. It will be on the show notes. Take advantage, join the community, take advantage of the free giveaway that she has, Wealth of Knowledge. Now, are you ready for the fun stuff? Everything's fun.
Okay.
I'm enjoying myself. Are you ready for the crazy questions?
Okay.
Let's do that. I call this the super hyper fast Q&A round. Not real hard.
Okay.
So first one is, what would you pick for your last meal, and who would it be with?
Oh, my last meal. Does it have to be a person, or could it be a group of people?
One person.
Oh, one person.
It could be famous, could not be famous.
And does it have to be someone that's living? Yeah, living? Yeah.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Right. Okay, so for my last meal, I'm originally from Florida, so I love seafood, and my absolutely favorite is crabs. So last meal, I'd love some crabs. And since it doesn't have to be someone here, it would definitely be Jesus Christ, because I would want him to help get me prepared for where I'm headed next.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. If you had to replace your hands with something other than hands or claws, what would you put at the end of your arms?
Oh gosh, what would something that would replace my hands? Oh, okay. I would add some eyes.
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, that's a good answer. I mean, so you're going to have 4 eyes.
Yes, because that would help me with my blind spots.
Boom. Love that. Love that answer. And then, what is something you enjoy doing that you think other people might think is a bit strange?
Well, I don't know. The people that are around me, they think that the fact that I can just live out on the beach all day from sun up to sundown is strange. But I love it. Sun up,
really?
Sundown. I mean, I can be literally all day just be on the beach.
So, and plus with what you do, you can do that on the beach with a hot spot and your computer if you wanted to, and just chill that way. I love the beach. If I had a choice, well, I always say, Christy, that's my wife, where do you want to go? You want to go beach or mountains? I want to go to mountains. I'm like, oh, but she loves the mountains. I love the beach. I love sun. Sun just reinvigorates me. And unfortunately, where I live at right now, there's not a lot of it at points in time. But it's all good. Perspective, right? Perspective.
We are kindred spirits, Freddy. Sun is my thing. And I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And so I had a hard time adjusting here because it's gray and I need my sun. So I tell my husband I'm here because of love.
I'm in Akron, Ohio. I'm here because of love too.
Okay, see, we're kindred spirits. I love it. Absolutely. Now, are you a Buckeye?
I don't really watch college football.
Okay.
I guess I am. I'm a Buckeye.
Okay.
I love sports. And that's another thing about this whole pandemic thing is it's taken away sports away from us. And I know it's going to come back. Is that better? And I know it's going to come back. I'm learning. I'm a work in progress.
Awesome.
Patricia, thank you so much for being on the Freddy O Show. You have been a wealth of knowledge, and I hope everybody takes advantage of what you had to offer today. Thank you so much. And you know what? If you could say one last thing to the listeners, what would it be?
I would say only your best is good enough. So be your best.
Boom. Thank you so much, Patricia. You're a rock star.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Amazing show today, fam. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Also, thank you to Patricia for dropping some golden nuggets of wisdom. Also, make sure that you head over to take a quick look at the show notes for today's podcast to take advantage of all that Patricia has to offer. Plus, all of her contact info will be on there as well. You can find all of that on winwithfred.com. Last but not least, visit winwithfred.com/FMA to become a member of the new Facebook group I have, the Funnel Mastery Alliance. Until next time, my friends, stay hungry.